Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys star CeeDee Lamb delivers bad news ahead of Giants matchup. The Dallas Cowboys are dealing with injuries ahead of their Thanksgiving Day showdown against the New York Giants, including star receiver CeeDee Lamb, who enters the matchup noticeably hobbled. Lamb has been battling multiple injuries but has remained a key presence on the field. While he initially suffered a sprained AC joint in his right shoulder earlier in the season, that hasn't caused him to miss any games. However, his recent setbacks are unrelated to the shoulder. Lamb has been listed as limited on the injury report for the past 2 days, dealing with back and foot issues. This is definitely one of the toughest years as for me body-wise, Lamb said after Tuesday's practice. Lamb inked a 4-year, $136 million extension prior to the start of the season. He's notched 841 yards on 77 catches with 4 touchdowns. And now he's navigating the rest of the season without franchise quarterback Dak Prescott, who was out following hamstring surgery. But Lamb has no intention of missing time. He's committed to being on the field. That ain't stopping nothing, that's for sure, Lamb said of his injuries keeping him on the sideline. Lamb is not the only notable name dealing with an injury during the short week. Quarterback Cooper Rush has been limited due to a new knee injury he suffered against the Washington Commanders. He's got some work to do, but I think we're gonna be fine, Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy said. Rush is coming off 2 solid performances after a miserable debut as the starter in place of Prescott. He's passed for 600 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception over his last 2 starts against the Commanders and Texans. Rush was much more efficient in his latest performance, completing 75% of his passes and posting a career-high QB rating of 117.6. I thought Cooper did a great job managing the game. I thought the run game teed up some completions for him and he was very decisive, McCarthy said. Clearly, it was his best game so far this year. Lamb was impressed with Rush but still wants to see more out of the offense. Pretty good, Lamb said while assessing Rush. Obviously, I feel like we could have scored a lot more, but his 2 touchdowns are definitely a confidence booster within the next few games that we have coming up. Dallas will likely need to run the table and get some help to keep their postseason hopes alive. Despite a 4-7 record, the team's competitive fire in the locker room hasn't wavered. I'm not done yet. I don't plan on tanking, Cowboys star Micah Parsons said after the game. If the higher-ups are looking for a draft pick, I hope that's ruined, because we got a lot of football left to play. As long as I'm a part of this team, we're always going to fight. There is certainly an argument that the Cowboys should start planning for next season and try to get in the best position to draft a top prospect. But Dallas isn't done yet. They'll look to pick up a 2nd straight win on Thanksgiving against the Giants. What is the Cowboys' record on Thanksgiving? Full year-by-year history. America's team always plays on Thanksgiving Day. This year, the Dallas Cowboys, 4-7, continue their holiday tradition against the New York Giants, 2-9. While the game doesn't jump off the page, the Cowboys are a Thanksgiving fixture all the way back to 1966. Dallas followed in the Detroit Lions' footsteps in playing at home each Turkey Day. The Lions have played on Thanksgiving each year since 1934, the only tradition with a longer standing compared to the Cowboys. The Cowboys have fared better than the Lions on Thanksgiving Day, however. Overall, Dallas is well above .500 on the holiday and is coming off a win last year over the Washington Commanders, 45-10. Now, the Cowboys are coming off a win over the Commanders last week and they hope to get out on a little winning streak with a good opportunity to do so when the Giants come to AT&T Stadium. The Dallas Cowboys' Thanksgiving Day tradition dates back to 1966. Their best stretch came in the 1980s when they won 6 straight games on Thanksgiving from 1980 to 85. Overall, the Cowboys are 33-22-1 all-time in their Thanksgiving Day games. They have won their game 2 years in a row, which snapped a 3-game losing streak from 2019 to 21. They snapped the losing streak against the Giants in 2022. Dallas rattled off a 4 in a row from 2006 to 2009 before the New Orleans Saints snapped the streak with a 30-27 win in 2010. Dallas has played on Thanksgiving annually since they began their tradition of hosting games in 1966. There are only 2 years, 1975 and 1977, where Dallas didn't play on Thanksgiving. The NFL gave Thanksgiving games to the St. Louis Cardinals those years in an attempt to boost the franchise. The Cowboys' 33-22-1 record on Turkey Day is better than the Lions, who have played on Thanksgiving since 1934. The Lions are 37-45-2 all-time on Thanksgiving. The Cowboys are on a 2-year Thanksgiving heater. Before, they dropped 3 in a row from 2019 to 21. Jimmy Jhonson puts Deion Sanders' Cowboys rumors to bed. Coaching and broadcasting legend Jimmy Jhonson stopped by the facility to talk shop with LeSean McCoy and the rest of the Fox Sports crew. McCoy asked Jhonson whether he thought Colorado football head coach Deion Sanders, who has been linked to rumors about the job, could be a potential option for the Dallas Cowboys head coach position. "No. I don't think that'll happen." The guys laughed because Jhonson didn't elaborate on the why behind his statement. Emmanuel Acho joked, "Coach ain't getting paid to do this show." After the commotion calmed, Jhonson clarified his belief. "Don't get me wrong, I love Deion. I love Prime. But his strength is bringing in talent. He's got an outstanding coaching staff. That's one reason why Colorado football has gotten to where they are. But I don't see that happening there in Dallas." McCoy followed up, "I played under Coach Dave Wannstedt. That was your boy, right? And all the players speak very highly of you, so my question is, a dude like Deion. I think players, if I was a player, I'd love to play for a guy like Coach Prime." "I agree," replied Jhonson. "He can bring out the best in the talent that he's got. And that's part of it, bringing out the best." Johnson's comments suggest that Sanders wouldn't be allowed the personnel freedom to use his talents in adding players. Ultimately, this is why Jhonson left Dallas way back when in the 1990s, because owner Jerry Jones has always been the general manager, technically. If Jones could humble himself and hand off the responsibility to a trusted party like Sanders, maybe the partnership could happen. There is no denying that Jones caught lightning in a bottle. The 1990s were a decade dominated by the Cowboys, who won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. However, Jhonson was the general manager and responsible for player personnel decisions during his tenure in Dallas from 1989 to 1993. The pair eventually drifted into chaos as Jones sought more control over football operations. Jhonson said he might be interested in coaching the then-expansion Jacksonville Jaguars team ahead of the 1994 season. In March 1994, Jones told the media anybody could have coached the Cowboys to a Super Bowl in 1993. Jhonson would not coach another game for Dallas after they won their second straight Super Bowl. While Jones deserves some credit for behaving so badly that it takes some pressure off the team since it is directed at him, he needs a coach willing to go along with his wishes. Perhaps that's why, even now, Jones can't help but consider an extension for Mike McCarthy, per John Machota of The Athletic. "I don't think an extension is crazy at all," Jones said. "This is a Super Bowl winning coach. Mike McCarthy has been there and done that. He has great ideas. We got a lot of football left. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Jimmy Jhonson? Leave your opinion in the comments.